words, because to rectify
Well,
the fact that the
okay,
name of God was
that
not
was in the
mentioned.
Septuagint.
So the name of
In,
God's
in
not
the
mentioned
in
in
the
book of
Hebrew
Esther.
Bible, Esther is the book we have in our Bible.
Yeah.
In the Septuagint, the Greek form, they added, and we don't know who, they made it better by putting in the prayer of Mordecai and some of these things. There were additions too. There's two books that have additions to it, mainly Daniel and Esther, in the Catholic Bible, the Apocrypha. Daniel, they added the story of Bel and the dragon. I like that story, even though it's not scriptural. But you know, are you familiar with the story of Bel and the dragon?
I think I've heard you talk about it, but I don't know the story.
It's, you know, but you can obviously see how some guy was trying to, you know, add to it, but it wasn't in the original Hebrew.
Did he not read the part of the Bible that said that, you know, people who add to or take away from the Bible are cursed? The guy who wrote the story of Bel and the Dragon, did he not read the part of the Bible that said?
Yeah, if he add anything to it, well, the thing is, when he wrote that, Book of Revelation wasn't there yet.
So going back to Ruth, what?
Esther.
Yeah.
You're like my grandpa. He used to do that all the time too.
Esther, what did they add in?
Okay, I think there's the prayer of Mordecai, if I remember right, and basically what's added to it are things about God.
Well, how did they know what the prayer of Mordecai was if it wasn't written in the scripture?
It was made up.
Oh, okay.
Someone made it up. I mean, that's my opinion. They would say, well, these are things. They would probably say these are things that weren't put in originally and later were put in. I'm not sure how they would.
So it would be kind of like if I was reading a biography and I didn't like the way it was written, I'd go and write. If I didn't like the ending, I'd go back and write a new ending, like you did on your paper.
Well, you see that in a minor. You see it in a minor way in some of the translations where let's say it says Kingdom of Heaven here, and in others it says Kingdom of God. Well, the person copying it says, well, they probably made a mistake. It probably should have been Church of God or the Kingdom of God, and so they change it to be matched. In other words, if later in the chapter it uses something, they may change this earlier mention of it to parallel with that because they think some scribe in the past messed up on it. So it's that kind of thing where they were
rewriting the book of Esther.
Hmm?
So basically
they were adding to it. Like in the book of Daniel, it's an easier one to see. The Bell of the Dragon, you know, you've got the story of Daniel in the lion's den, okay, and you got the story of the three men in the fiery furnace. Well, they've added another story in it. They have the story of Bel and the Dragon, where Daniel goes in and he confronts the false teachers because they would go in and every day they would take the food in and the next day the food would be gone, and so it proves that Bel is a true God because he eats the food. Well, Daniel says that's a lot of baloney. He's not a true God, and he can prove it. He says, I'll tell you what, let me go into the temple. Once they put their food down, let me go to the temple all by myself and come out and seal it so no one can come in. So they let him go in. He comes out and seals it. Next morning they go in, the food's gone, but he's spread flour all over the floor. And you can see where the priest had come out of a secret compartment and walked up to the idol of Bel and taken the food and taken it back and hiding it. So he showed it was a deception. It was a nice little story, but it doesn't fit. The story of Bel and the Dragon is nothing like the Daniel in the lion's den or the other. It's something added, another story to add it. Sort of like the Mormons say, we've got another gospel. If you like the original gospel, we got another gospel.
If you liked this book, check out other books by
Yeah, exactly. That kind of thing. And so the same thing in there. But the main problem that they added to Esther for was they wanted to fix the problem.